Hi everyone, it's a privilege to speak with you today about the exciting and growing sector of AI in Brazil. My name is Djalma Petit. I am president of TechSoft. It is an NGO organization for support Brazilian software companies, and also I am CEO for a consulting firm, Digital Capital Consulting. Thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me to share information with you in this CIO Leadership Forum. Today, we will explore the current state of AI in Brazil, its business adoption, and its expected impact on the national economy. You can see our agenda in these slides. Let's make an overview of AI in Brazil. The impact of AI on Brazil's technology sector and overall economy is expected to be transformative. AI is likely to drive economic growth, stimulate job creation in tech-related fields, and enhance productivity in traditional industries. In fact, AI is seen as one of the key drivers to modernize Brazilian business and improve our global competitiveness. The technology is also creating new opportunities for startup and business innovation in all sectors. On market overview, Brazilian companies have already accumulated a big amount of data, so providing a fertile ground of AI solutions. Sectors like healthcare, finance, and agriculture are rapidly adopting AI to improve efficiency. The Brazilian AI market is expected to grow significantly, potentially reaching over $500 million by 2025. Generative AI platforms such as ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot are already widely used here by the people in general. Education for AI. Brazil is investing in AI education with over 60 master's and PhD programs dedicated to AI research already. This prepares a new generation of professionals to drive future innovation. Over 6,000 scientific papers are published in academic journals in the last 5 years by Brazilians. So, the Brazilian government has launched the Plano Nacional de Inteligência Artificial. It means National Plan for Artificial Intelligence. The objective is strengthen the country's capability in AI, and it will include investments in education, research, and AI integration into public services in general. In this slide, you can see the 10 premises that runs the plan. In these other slides, we can see where the investments will be done and the amount of investment in each area. The total will reach $4.3 billion US dollars in investments. So, finishing, I would like to see that AI in Brazil is a growth sector that certainly will improve the whole competitiveness of the economy of the country. Again, thank you for inviting me to talk a little bit about this sector in Brazil.
Well, hello everybody. Let everybody hear me well, and everybody understand my version of English, which is absolutely American. No, I'm not speaking Portuguese to you. I'll be speaking in English, so you won't have any difficulties in understanding me, hopefully. I will try to speak slower so that you may understand fully what I'm about to say. So most of you have heard from last year that Brazil is a reasonably large economy, and it has a reasonably large ITC sector, running about the size of England or France or Italy in terms of population and generation of ITC in general. Consumers in Brazil have become used to using IT mostly since the advent of inflation in Brazil in the 80s. We became familiar with using screens, because we needed to remove money very fast from the banks without making queues, so that we could buy groceries in the supermarkets and use the money that we had to the best of our advantage. So time passed, and we developed our own large ITC corporations. They have been investing all over the world, in the United States, in Mexico, here in Europe, close by in Romania, but also in West Germany and elsewhere. But this is not what you wanted to hear. I just wanted to give you an idea of what Brazil is about. Agility, attending to the customer to the best of its ability, being fast. We have been allowing most internet companies to come and operate out of Brazil. I actually personally participated in the initial operations of Wipro and Tata Consulting in 2006 and 2007, when we had some difficulties, for example, and here comes the bureaucracy, where we had to convince the Ministry of Labor that the people who had to come to Brazil on a regular basis over 6 months and then come back again from India were actually multiplicators. They were actually assisting Brazilians in getting to know how to operate the machines and provide services to their customers. So Brazil is fully integrated into the international global market of ITC, and this has allowed a lot for us to start using more intensively, let's say, what we call today the Internet 4.0. Is that correct? Is that the term that you use here? More and more, the Internet has been integrated into our daily lives. As you know, Brazil has a large agricultural sector where we have tractors and machines and drones flying over our crops, and these ITC developments were the result of, let's say, IT 4.0, or the development of the Internet of Things. We do not have in Brazil yet sufficiently evolved is the actual connection, as some of the North Americans have done, the integration of the refrigerator or your oven or your automobile into your computer network, your telephone. This is something that only small communities have been developing in Brazil. So this is not happening. The banking sector in Brazil is very developed in the Internet of Things, but the other sectors are not. So talking specifically about artificial intelligence. I believe, of course, that most of you have read Kai-Fu Lee and Chen Qiufan, their books on their initial book, which was 2041, where they actually discussed some of the developments that were expected in the internet, in actually artificial intelligence. I'm sorry, but it's been too fast. We moved from ITC to artificial intelligence a little bit too fast. So I might be correcting myself a little bit more than usual, not saying artificial intelligence and saying ITC, but anyway, what I'll be talking to you about now is artificial intelligence. So the dissemination of knowledge in Brazil in AI is not a substitute, in our vision, it is not a substitute of human intelligence. In some fields, progresses have been made to our advantage, such as in medicine, where surgeons have increased their capacities via robotics with enormous advantages. Surgeries are now performed in Brazil on a frequent basis using robotics and artificial intelligence more and more. I remember very well in the 90s in Brazil, if you had a heart problem, if you had a liver problem, the best solution for you was to take a plane and travel to Cleveland Clinic for a heart surgery or to Johns Hopkins for a liver surgery. This is no longer the case. Medicine in Brazil is up to date and just as sophisticated and developed as any other place around the world. So AI has also moved into unimaginable fields, such as recently reproducing a speech made by Trump in impeccable English, in impeccable Chinese, although he doesn't have a clue about what is the Chinese language. So more and more AI is changing our perception of the world, and some companies, not only North American but also Chinese, are becoming proficient in doing this. There is a company called All-Fly-Tech, which is a leader in this sector, specifically of perception, more advanced than any other in the world right now. By training this company, it has created a digital model almost identical to the voice of any person, both tone and rhythm of speech, something that was unimaginable 10 years ago. Again, another book, and diplomats read a lot. Again, another book on artificial intelligence was written some time ago, which talked about 4 modes of artificial intelligence that we can read, that we can discuss nowadays. Artificial intelligence of the internet, artificial intelligence of business, artificial intelligence of perception, such as the case that I just mentioned to you now, and autonomous artificial intelligence. These ways, 4 ways, will provoke a strong international competition in which many countries will compete, and not just the United States and China. You already know Google, Baidu, Alibaba, and YouTube are companies which are competing in this market. Another company is CIO, and not only making successes in China, but also having success in touching consumers all over the world. 700 consumers already use their software. Another point that I would like to raise at this point is that AI's perception will facilitate and increase our capacity to recognize our faces and comprehension of our voices and vision. In the world, this perception of the world around us will increase millions of points of contact between the worlds online and offline. This data could create a very interesting experience, personalized experience, for example, for education. Of course, there is the possibility that all of this recreation of a virtual world could also create a very interesting scenario for the military to start having virtual wars. And you will read, perhaps you that are Serbians are avid readers. Maybe you have read already books by Tom Clancy and Tom Clancy's followers who have already produced scenarios of war in AI. And if you haven't done this, I would suggest that you do, because this gives you an idea of what is going on in the military field in the field of AI. In my opinion, AI will never substitute the professor. The professor is the basic educational agent, and it is him that interacts with the students all the time when he talks about hybrid teaching. We think that about the possibility of greater interaction with AI, but we must never forget that AI could never substitute the professor. It is fundamental to state that and assume the responsibility of offering greater preparation and training of educators, so technology can work as an important teaching tool. It is clear that there are certain risks that we should try to avoid when putting AI on the pedestal as something to be looked for, to be obtained at all times, at all costs. One of the scientists in the world which is questioning that and bringing our expectations back to the ground, back to earth again, is a professor called Miguel Nicolelis, who is the responsible for the neuroscience faculty at Duke University in the United States. And he wrote a critic about Yuri Harari, who believes that artificial intelligence has kidnapped the system, the world, the planet. In his opinion, in the opinion of the Brazilian professor, Mr. Nicolelis, AI has not kidnapped anything, has not sequestered anything. The human species is perhaps kidnapping its own evolution, and this is something that we should be aware of. AI, the professor Nicolelis states that in his university, he remembers all his students that AI is not intelligent or artificial. And I quote this again: it is not artificial because it is created by man. It is not intelligent because intelligence is a property that emerges out of organisms interacting with the environment, with other organisms. It is a product. This is a product of a Darwinist process of natural selection. Algorithms may do something and even walk, but they are not intelligent by definition. In Professor Nicolelis' opinion, the human mind probably is filled with phenomena which are non-computable, such as intelligence, intuition, creativity, aesthetic, sense, and definitions of beauty, among others. In my personal evaluation as a diplomat, there are a few menaces that AI is presenting to us at this point. And I think that we should pay an intellectual care of what is being told by Yuval Harari and his last books. AI generates falsification or almost perfect falsification of sounds, images, and laws, which make the tool of AI extremely dangerous. Above all, if we consider the enormous deficiencies of our judicial system, for example, which is another area where AI is increasingly being used in our Brazilian judicial system. And this is something that is being very heavily discussed in Brazil. In Brazil right now we have 77 million legal processes which are being processed by 18,000 judges. So AI represents in Brazilian tribunals with a perspective, if they are improved, with notable gains of productivity. But the tool is seen carefully because it produces technical mistakes which may generate problems for the judicial system. It produces, it facilitates the work of judges, but these human beings cannot be substituted by algorithms. The sensitivity of a magistrate, of a judge, to substitute his behavior, to conciliate all the parties involved, is a factor present today and a topic of discussion among specialists in this field. Okay, we cannot deny that artificial intelligence is already deciding some small petitions based on jurisprudence without the necessity to actually hiring a lawyer. This seems perhaps a very important and interesting step in this sense. So as a conclusion, let me state that 90 countries around the world, including Brazil, defend the existence of new rules for the application of AI in war, for example. We know that AI can analyze great quantities of data in a small amount of time, or much faster than humans, and they can also supply options that may accelerate decisions. We are living in a world in constant evolution. Drones and satellites with computer vision can view information from other countries and armed groups in a very accelerated form, much faster than before. This perhaps is a positive development for avoiding war. We should take advantage of AI developments, but with caution, knowing that it has limits. I mentioned to some of you a little bit earlier that we are increasingly using AI in agriculture in Brazil to produce experiments with biofuels. As you know, Brazil is one of the few countries in the world which has a very large and intense use of biofuels. And by biofuels, I mean alcohol and biodiesel. All 45,000 gas stations in Brazil have an alcohol pump. The research that is being conducted to improve the fuels of the future, the green hydrogen, the use of sustainable air fuels, the projection of the development of the sector to facilitate life, to make your country increasingly more independent of foreign suppliers is a good thing, is a good application for artificial intelligence. But I believe that we should be cautious we should be not allowing and giving artificial intelligence the capacity to lie, for example, the capacity to deny you information, for example. This is something for you to look for. And by the way, if you have seen Stanley Kubrick's 2001 and the Space Odyssey, there was an artificial intelligence robot on that spaceship. And the big drama that developed at the end of the film was when the robot, that artificial intelligence, denied access of the pilot to the chamber where the mainframe computer was located. So this is something for us to look at. To use AI as an advantage tool, to use it to facilitate some of the tasks. Some of the notes that I produced today was done through ChatGPT. Very fast, very efficient, but one should watch out. There are various wrong users of AI, deep fake images, falsification of patents. Actors are increasingly questioning artificial intelligence and the use of voices and facial images of artists on commercials on television and images on the internet which had been produced previously in the cinema. So this is something for us to look with care when we consider artificial intelligence. So Brazil is an interesting market. We have biofuels which are being also researched with artificial intelligence right now. We have a lot of government uses for artificial intelligence increasingly through the internet first and now with artificial intelligence. Some of these models, I believe that some of the organizers of congresses which will take place in Brazil perhaps will learn about this. And what is interesting about Brazil is that we develop technologies which are more affordable, which are easier to process, which are more user-friendly, and they are easier to use to Serbians than to other countries. So this is something I wanted to draw your attention to. Thank you very much.